Welcome back to the channel. Now, seeing as there's no Six Nations action on this weekend, it gives us another opportunity to reflect upon round 3 of the Six Nations, a round in which could have been historical for Italy, but unfortunately the wind denied Paolo Garbisi twice, not only from the kicking tee, but as the ball went onto the post as well. It was an indoor stadium, so I'm not quite sure how that worked. Aside from that, Ireland got a very dominant victory over Wales, and the Scots maintained their grip on the Calcutta Cup once more. A round that's full of action, and in today's video I'm going to be naming my team of the week. One of my favourite parts about these videos is hearing what your team of the week is in the comment section down below. I'm sure you'll have a few changes to my team, so please do let me know in the comment section down below. If you could also subscribe to the channel, as 90% of all my viewers are not subscribed, I'd really appreciate that. And if you could turn on the notification bell, that would be even better. Without further ado, let's get into my team of the week. So in the front row, I've gone with Andrew Porter, Jamie George, and at tight head I've gone for Tadhg Furlong. Now, Andrew Porter, not only was he instrumental in the demolition of that Welsh scrum, which got Ireland plenty of penalties and field position, but he was also instrumental with the breakdown. He got his turnover, in which he celebrated alongside the Irish fans at the Aviva as he sort of fist pumped the air and let out a pretty loud yell as well. So he was very happy to get that turnover, but it was his all-round game really, which I thought was very impressive. Potentially a player which gets slightly sort of less media attention than he should. He was heavily featured in the documentary, so maybe the Netflix documentary that is, so maybe that'll get him a few more eyeballs, but a real instrumental player in that Irish team. The main thing I think people don't appreciate is the amount of time that player plays in the World Cup against South Africa in the group stage, against two big Springbok front rows. He was playing 75 minutes of rugby, which is pretty much unheard of for a loosehead prop, so fair play to Andrew Porter. On the other side of the scrum at tight head, Tadhg Furlong, I was sort of tossing and turning between him and Uni Antonio, who was also dominant at scrum time, but I just feel Tadhg Furlong around the field just edges it a little bit more than Antonio. A little bit younger, a little bit more youthful, and he has more involvements in the game as a whole. So that's why I've gone with Tadhg Furlong, and yeah, also instrumental in the scrum time against the Welsh. In between them was Jamie George. I didn't feel like the hooker selection for this week was sort of completely standout. You had Dan Sheehan, who put on an impressive performance, but his line-out darts weren't quite there. Although Jamie George did get a line-out dart mixed. I'm going to give it to Jamie George. I don't know if you're aware, but he's had a very torrid couple of weeks with the passing of his mother. And I think the ability to run out onto that rugby field as England captain with all that pressure at such a difficult point in your life is incredibly sort of inspirational. And I thought the way he led the team was really, really good. He played with so much passion, pride, and I think for the England going forward under Steve Borthwick evolving, I think he's the man that can really take this team forward from a leadership point of view. In my opinion about the England team, without going into it too much, is there needs to be developments in terms of the personnel used, but in terms of that hooker jersey, Jamie George is the man at the moment. Impeccable line-out darts usually, world-class line-out darts usually, so yeah, credits to Jamie George not only for his performance, but his performance under such difficult circumstances. Now, moving into the second row, there's a couple shouts in here. You could have gone for Joe McCarthy of Ireland, but I've actually gone with, I think it's Scott Cummings. I know his second name's Cummings. I want to go with Scott Cummings. And the other side of the locks is going to be Tadhg Beirne, a player which you could probably put on the board every single week, and everyone would pretty much accept it. I thought Cummings was really good in the England-Scotland game. I think for a second row, he adds a lot of punch going forward in terms of his carrying power. And obviously, the heavier you are, the better you tend to be in the scrum, which can also help out the front row of the Scots. But I thought in the line-out as well, I thought he had a real good all-round game. He could do a little bit of everything, which was impressive. Tadhg Beirne got over for the final try of the game in Ireland versus Wales. A really good performance from Tadhg Beirne, albeit getting yellow carded, I believe. That's a slightly debatable yellow card. I'm not sure what you think about that one. I don't think it was going to be a yellow card if the touch judge didn't sort of probe that direction as much as he did. But maybe it was a fair yellow card, who knows. Usually in those sort of circumstances you tend to get sort of penalty advantage and go back for a penalty. But in this circumstance the penalty try was awarded, so Tadhg Beirne didn't have a smile on his face after that. But a good all-round performance from Tadhg Beirne, good pace for a lock. And despite Ireland's line-out issues, I did feel he deserved his place in the team of the week. And in terms of the back row, now I never really like it when players pick sort of 2 number 8s in the back row, but I've done it this week because I believe these 2 players were really impressive for their respective teams. I've gone for Ross Vincent from Italy. I thought he was really impressive. There's all that sort of story around him going from Domino's delivery driver to international rugby player, which is really sort of an inspirational story to be able to go from Exeter University, sort of year to 18 months ago, straight into the first team, and some brilliant stuff from him. And on the other side, I'm going to go with Michele Lamaro, the leader of Italy, the spiritual leader of Italy. Had some really nice involvements in the game, plenty of tackling, plenty of jackling throughout. I thought he was immense. And at number 8, I've gone for Aaron Wainwright. You could probably have gone for Caelan Doris in there. He's exceptional every single week, but I thought Aaron Wainwright deserved his position in this team. I should probably not pick Aaron Wainwright because I really struggle to say his second name. It'd be much easier if he was a rubbish player because I wouldn't have to mention him. But in this game, he was really impressive. And not only did he put in sort of a 60-metre kick for a number 8, but I thought he was the player in which had a big impact on the game in terms of if he wasn't playing for Wales, I think the scoreline could have been quite a bit more ugly, and his sort of ferocity and power really did help Wales stay in the game for as long as they did. And in terms of the backs, not a hugely strong selection of scrum halves this week. Jameson Gibson-Park gets it for me. I thought he was instrumental in everything Ireland do. He really is exceptional at getting the ball to the space and getting it to the space very quickly. His distribution skills are second to none really, and his pace off the base of a ruck or a scrum does set him apart from many other scrum halves, so he gets in there for me. And then at number 10, this could even be the sort of Lions combination that go to Australia. I've got Finn Russell. You can't really not pick him this week. He was simply sublime. His assists to Duhan van der Merwe off of the boot was just brilliant. I thought he overall managed the game effectively. One of his major criticisms from people like myself is, he's a flashy player, but he doesn't really play the sort of basics of a fly half too well, but he really did in this game, and he has done of recent times. His goal kicking as well, usually an area in which you could sort of nitpick at and say not quite where it needs to be. It was in this game, and it has been this Six Nations, kicking at 100%, I believe. So fair play to Finn Russell. And then moving into the centres, I've gone for Bundy Aki, which is probably a given and an obvious one, and then Brex as well. Brex has been instrumental in that Italian midfield, has really helped them level up to become competitive in the Six Nations on the international stage. His sort of vision of the game, his ability to pick the right tackle when he needs to, as well as adding some real good go forward ball in attack. It was brilliant. And Bundy Aki, you can't really go wrong with him in the midfield, carrying his form over from the World Cup into the Six Nations. A very good direct runner who can break tackles very easily, but a player who's also got the vision as well to spot where the gaps are and get the ball to space. In terms of the back 3, at number 11, I've gone for Duhan van der Merwe. An exceptional player, picks up 3 tries against England. I don't think there's another team you'd rather play against. He always turns up against England and was phenomenal in this game. So many different sort of styles of tries. One in which he was basically sort of followed the play and then got an offload and dotted the ball down, so it showed good sort of support play. The second of which was a beautiful assist from Finn Russell, a crossfield kick into the corner. Brilliant pace to get onto that ball. And then the other one, skins Benel in the 5 metre channel to go 60 metres untouched from an England error. So fair play to him. He's got a knack of scoring against England, and he's a player in which, not that I'd ever want a player to be injured, but if you saw a headline, Duhan van der Merwe's out of the England clash, I'd probably pop a little wry smile because he's caused English fans a lot of pain over the last sort of 12 months. But fair play to him. He's definitely putting his hand up to be a Lions player as well. On the other wing, he's already been a Lions player, but I mean for the upcoming tour. And then on the other wing is Tommaso Melencello, and at fullback I've gone for Winnett. Melencello was very good in the game against France. He really surprised me. I didn't know he had half the stuff he did in terms of offloads in his locker. Real good edge of pace as well, and can pull his legs out of a tackle very, very effectively. And at fullback, I've gone for Winnett, a player which I thought really stepped up for Wales. Was very slippery going forward in attack. It was very difficult to sort of get a grip on him from the Irish defenders. Not that he caused Ireland sort of huge problems, but he was definitely a shining light in the Welsh team, and He's a player who's quite young, and going forward, I'm sure we'll see a lot more of him. Those are my thoughts on the team of the week. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll always read your comments and get back to you if I can. And yeah, always good to hear what you have to say. But until the next video, take care.